On part two of Kingdom Perspective, we are going to talk about now versus eternal. But if you haven't heard the first part, go ahead and give it a listen because we talked about control versus access. And once you give it a listen to that, then come back to this episode. And like I said, in the world that we live today, we want things now. We want things now. We see babies even and children, and when they ask for things, they want them now. Because as human beings, we want that gratifying feeling of things that come now, that we receive at the moment. And that's not how it works when we have kingdom perspective, when we see things from the point of view that God sees them. And I've talked to adults that they go through this. I've gone through this. I believe that everyone has gone through this where we want something, we need something, and we ask for it now. We work for it now. We lose sleep over things, and we get anxious because we want things now at the moment. And we are taught to be focused on those things. We are taught to want things now because everything that we see, we desire that. So when we go on social media, or when we have conversations, or when we see other people or see things that are definitely doable and accessible, we want them now for ourselves. But we have to recognize and remember that everyone is on a different process. Everyone is it's on a different way. We are on different paths, and I cannot desire what someone else has if they have gone through the process. I cannot desire what they have at this moment if I haven't put maybe the work or the years or the expertise or knowledge that that person has acquired through the years. And that's, we have to be careful that we don't fall into that place where we are wanting things now that we're not ready for. And that's why the first episode of this series is so important, because we were talking about having access to everything, having access to things through God rather than having control over them. And when we talk about wanting things now, like I said, we are taught to focus on how can we get something now? How can we receive that now? How can we have the pleasure of this now? And I've had the blessing of working in the financial industry, and it always amazes me how many people, even in their older age, haven't prepared for retirement or haven't done things that are going to help them financially when they get to that age where they cannot work any longer, where they have to depend on what they have done during their life to survive and live a comfortable life in their older age. And it always amazes me how many people never thought about what was next, because they were just doing the now. And that could be applied to spiritual things, to practical things, to so many areas where we want the now, and we forsake the eternal, the future, the later. And is that term of delayed gratification is so powerful when it comes to today, when it comes to what we're seeing and living and doing today. Delayed gratification is basically we could get something now, we could do something now, we could have control over something now, but rather we will do it later. We will get to it later. We will receive the benefits later, because there are certain priorities that we are looking to fulfill now, that we're looking to do now. And when we talk about kingdom perspective, God cares about now, but He also cares about the future, and He cares most of everything. He cares about the eternal things. And I know that sometimes we can get so caught up in the now, in the present, in our lives, that we forsake the eternal things, and we forsake what's coming later, and we forsake how to prepare in the practical, but as well in the spiritual. And delayed gratification is something that can be applied to like I said before, to so many different areas: practical things, financial things, um, career things, material things, so many different areas. And the Bible teaches us about focusing on the eternal things. And I have my Bible here. And I wanna read from 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 18. And it says that we don't look at the troubles we can see now. We don't look at the troubles that we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that we cannot see. For the things that we can see now will soon be gone, but the things that we cannot see will last forever. That is kingdom perspective. Is the fact of, yes, we are living in the now. Yes, we are experiencing everything that's going on around us, but we are not fixing our eyes on now. We are not fixing our eyes on now. We are fixing our eyes on the eternal things. We are looking at what's coming next, and we are keeping as our priority those things that will prevail forever. So I'm not saying don't build an amazing career now, or don't build a family now, or don't build a business or a church now. I'm saying build all of those things, but don't have the rewards from now as your primary motivation. Instead, build those things now, but focus on the eternal things and the things that will forever last. So when we talk about what are those eternal things that could be our priorities now, is love. So for example, build your business, but build it with love. That the people that have your services, that the people that come into contact with you, that are benefited from your business idea, that they also receive the love from you, from your team. Same thing in a church, in a family, in your workplace. You can advance and you can do things in a practical way, but with the mindset of the eternal things. So doing things with love, doing things with passion, doing things that will bless people, even when you're not in that job anymore, even when you're not leading that team anymore, doing things that will bless people, even when you're not in this world anymore, but that your dream, that your passion, that the gift that God gave you stays having an impact even after you're gone. Those are the eternal things. Those are the things that matter the most. Those are the things that we ought to focus on, because those are the things that have the impact that are going to stay even when we're not. So as you build your dreams and as you build your business or the things that God has put in your heart, look to add the eternal things into the practical things. So how can the practical things be eternal? What can you add that can make things and make the impact eternal? And I promise you that when you look at things in that way and you look at things having that mindset, suddenly you're going to detach from every gratification that could come in the moment, and you're going to care more about the future, the next generation. And that's so powerful. We are walking in the sacrifices and the love and the commitment of our past generations. We are benefiting, we're receiving the blessing of their work. And your work, in the same way, your faith, your love should set up the next generation for success. We should not live just for us right now, but for who's coming next. So how is your idea going to bless the next generation? How is your family going to bless the next generation? How is your life now? How are your daily actions going to bless the next generation? And it doesn't have to be only your family. You could bless other people. You could bless the marketplace. You could bless the kingdom of God. You could bless the church. And that's the goal. That's the kingdom perspective. As Christians, we want to do things that, yes, they bless people in the present, but more importantly, that they're able to be sustained when we're not here. And when I look at the life of Jesus, he performed a lot of miracles in the present. He performed a lot of things in the now, in the moment. But he focused so much more on talking about the future, on talking about the moments where he wouldn't be with his disciples anymore, that he wouldn't be walking and preaching anymore. So he focused on those things because he had a kingdom perspective. He was focusing on the eternal things. He taught love. He is love. He walked in love. He walked in patience, in faithfulness. All of those things are eternal things, and all of those things have an impact. And the way that he led was a way that allowed for his impact to be eternal. And that's the kind of leader that I want to be. I want to be someone that is recognized by the eternal things, not by my ability, not by what I can accomplish, not by my words or by the things that I can do. Rather, how did I love people? When I'm not on this world anymore, can people say that I loved like Jesus did? That I spoke with the words that came from the Bible, that I spoke gentle words, that I treat everyone equally, that I didn't have favoritism, that I respected everyone. Those are things that are eternal. Those are things that can be applied to our dream today. Those are things that can be applied to our families today, to your workplace, to your career. If you're studying and you want to do something in the future with those studies in a career, you can apply that today. But those are things that take time. Building a testimony, building a reputation takes time. That's why it's so important that we don't think of the now, but of the future. And if we talk about, for example, talking about the financial side of things, that a lot of people want to make a lot of money now or build things now, when in reality those things for most of us takes a lot of time, takes a lifetime of preparation to be able to build that. That could be applied to any other area. If you are working on something, an idea, a family is not built from one day to the next. A marriage is not built from one day to the next. Just because you have witnesses and you make a commitment before God and before them, that doesn't mean that you have a marriage. That just means that people know that you enter into that agreement. But a marriage is built in years. It's not just in that one moment. A healthy marriage is built in years, and I believe that a healthy marriage is a constant thing that we have to be building every single day, asking God for wisdom in our families, asking God for His grace, asking God for His faithfulness in our lives. Same thing with our dreams. Same things with the passions that you have in your heart. Same things with the business or the role that you have, where you don't want to build things just for now, because what's going to happen when you're not here? What's going to happen when you get promoted, or you go to a different city, or you go to a different state, or you go to a different place in the world? Is your past labor and work going to die, or is it going to keep having impact? That's where we become really great. That's where greatness, I think, that is found, is when we can leave a place and still our work have impact, or when we are not in this world anymore and people can still talk about us in a positive way, not by what we did, but by who we were and how we treated others. And I love the saying that people will never remember like every interaction that they have with you, but they will remember how you make them feel. And that's all that matters. That opens so many doors. That blesses so many people. And that is a kingdom perspective, is the difference of the things in the now versus the eternal things. And the now things are are going to be more appealing because you can have the benefit, you can receive the pleasure, the benefit, the reward now. But the eternal things, the later things, are much more valuable because those stay, those have a long lasting impact. So today, our practical application is you look at where you are in life, look at the things that you're building, look at the work that you're doing, look at the place where God has put you, and do things in the now, but having the mindset of the future, of the eternal things. Add those ingredients to what you're doing now, and I promise you the impact and the appreciation and the blessing that you are going to be in others is going to be more than anything that you could have ever thought or imagined. So that's the application for today. And if you haven't done so yet, give us a follow, save these episodes, share it with other people, talk about them, speak about them, and we will see you guys on our next episode.